We'd like to welcome you to the remaking of the Yankee Panky. We're glad you all could make it. Well, I suppose we better start at the beginning. It's getting kind of hot in here.
Get the IRS man out.
Now get him out to get me out. Well, I suppose we ought to start at the beginning.
Okay.
When I first came to Amelia Island, it was just the day after the horrendous gale of October 37. When I arrived on the island, well, that was the one that sent the steamer Destiny to a watery grave off Lookout Point. You remember that one, don't you?
Yep.
I know you did. Well, when I arrived on the island, the storm and its destruction were all the talk of Fernandina. There was another ship, too, called the Yankee Panky that had a bout with the storm. And she'd done a little better. She'd managed to make it in right out of the heart of the storm, into the harbor of Fernandina. I had the opportunity to see her there the following day. Her sails were shredded like rags as they hung from the cross trees. Her rigging was like vines hung over the sides, dangling into the water. And her topmast had been fallen by a giant wave as it lay in a shambles across her decks. In all, she was a fitting testament to the power of the storm she had eluded. In all the taverns and in all the streets of the waterfront district, crowds of the curious pursued the survivors of the Yankee Panky, hoping for a tale of their heroine escape. And none went away disappointed either. For on as many street corners as you could find them, there were crowds of people just listening to these new heroes witness their heroic deeds aboard the Yankee Panky. As for myself, I'd just given up the sea life. Over the years, I'd heard and seen enough to satisfy me need for excitement. What I was looking for was a bit of peace and quiet. Somewhere where I could make plans for me new life ashore and gather me thoughts, as it were. Well, that's why I boarded an old trolley car and rode down to the end of the line, which was the beach. And there, after a short walk, I arrived at the Seaside Inn. Well, I was met at the door by a strange fellow, Mr. Merriweather. Introduced himself as the proprietor of the place. And after he'd gotten my lodgings taken care of, and as it was getting rather late in the day, I went off to the dining room and sat down and ordered me supper. And while I was sitting there, I noticed an old cobweb-covered piano over in the corner. I got up and played a few ditties on the dusty keys, and suddenly, to my surprise, out of nowhere, this fellow, Mr. Merriweather, appears and offered me a job playing at the Seaside Inn for his guests that would come in from time to time. Well, owing to me circumstances, I was obliged to accept his offer. And I was forthwith installed as the Seaside Inn's house musician. I'd been there only a week when, after one dark and foggy night, there occurred a series of events which have left me a tormented man, a fugitive in my own dreams, after all these long years.
empty house?
Well, thank you, ma'am, but I can't take all the credit. After all, I got a first-class instrument here to play on. And as every musician knows, that can make all the difference in the world.
Really? And what brand is it?
Boy, it's a Steinway, ma'am. I thought you would have known that. And quite a remarkable instrument it is, too. Remarkable because it entirely does away with the need for glasses.
Glasses?
Yes.
And what need does a piano player have for glasses?
Well, now, it's not glasses that one be in need of, ma'am. But what goes inside the glasses? I'm speaking of booze, potable spirits, whiskey. Aye. Does away with glasses because it has this little tube that comes out of the piano here. You see that? Yeah. And the little tube is connected to this here German stein, which fits inside the piano, which holds the booze.
How ingenious.
Aye, that's why they call it a Steinway.
A Steinway?
That's right, Mum. It's a Steinway.
Outrageous! I will not be treated in this manner. Do you know who I am?
Of course I do. You're, Sir Cedric Freston.
That's Esquire. And if you do not procure for me a room, you will regret that you ever heard the name or saw the face.
Sir, I already do.
Really? Then you shall regret that your father ever found your mother attractive. You will regret that your ancestors did not, like lemmings, run off into the sea and perish up to the very last man. You shall regret that last week you were not eaten alive by gnats and rabid gophers and alligators with glandular imbalances if you do not procure for me a seaside room with a sunny view now!
Oh, sir, maybe we do have a vacancy. I'll go down and see.
Very well, then.
No surprise is no surprise.
The power of positive persuasion. It's amazing what a little friendly persuasion. People are willing to do anything for you.
Good day, sir. Are you to be staying with us?
Well, I should hope so indeed. And who are you?
I'm Mrs. Homewood, sir. And if it please you, I could give you a trim and a manicure to be fitting a gentleman and a style.
Oh, could you indeed? Well, let's give you a try, shall we? Stop that noise.
We can't be looking at that face now, can we? But I couldn't do that to him.
She wasn't sure. Baldalia said that the tobacco settler down the street said he was sure that he had a ride on that there sailing ship, the Yankee Panky.
Well, I didn't know they brought any passengers with them.
Hardly anyone does, honey, but apparently the captain had shared his quarters with a certain richest gentleman.
Well, maybe that's him.
Oh, I wonder. And then she said she heard a rumor that there were several other passengers who traveled over the whole way in the steerage of the ship. Never even got to see the light of day until they started to unload the cargo at the bare docks.
Well, I wonder if he made them stay below decks.
Wouldn't surprise me none at all. From what Juanita Wilson down at the Tabby House says, he's used to a bunch of people waiting on him, doing just what he wants, calling him sir and all, just like he was some courtly king. She said young Jamie Ritchie came over and started making a fuss over him, acting like he knew he was in the presence of somebody high up and special. And do you know what he said to Jamie?
What?
He said it was plain to see that Jamie was a person of reason.
What?
Well, Jamie told him he weren't no hog and no cow and he didn't live in no barnyard, thank you very much. And then he told him right straight to his face he best change his attitude or something bad was bound to happen to him if he stayed south of this Mason-Dixon line too long. Well, I just have some coffee, honey.
Have some tea, please. Well, I bet that showed him.
No, he just started to laughing and didn't stop until after Jamie left. Juanita said it was a real sinister laugh, and after that she said there'd be no more room at the Tabby House for him.
Really? Where'd he go?
I don't know, but Juanita said while he was there she had a dream about him. looking like a ghost that was just as weird as frog cake and eyeball marmalade. And she was just as glad to get rid of him as she was the plague.
Well, do you think he's left the island now?
Afraid not, honey. They say he's here on some kind of business, maybe even secret business, 'cause he won't tell nobody what he's up to. He walks around like he's always in a mysterious hurry, going in and out the buildings with his little black mustache and his little black beard and his big old black cape that gets looking like a set of bat wings when the wind catches it.
Did you say a little black mustache
Uh-huh.
and a black beard
Yes.
and a big old black cape?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Feel better after a little nap and a manicure?
I shall feel better when I am informed as to the disposition of my lodgings in this ramshackle establishment. Now go and find for me that pigeon-faced clerk and have him report to me at once.
Very well, sir.
Oh, Sir Cedric, I presume. Hardly we have caught up with you. Allow me to introduce ourselves. I am Natasha Bigribov, and this, my husband Yuri, is himself. We have been looking all over the place for you, but you're always somewhere else. We go here, you are over there. We go there, you are over here. So finally we have found you. It's good.
It's good.
You see, Sir Cedric, we are travelers like yourself. So far from home, how nice we are thinking we all sit down and have a drink together. Right, Yuri?
Right, Natasha.
But of course. You shall be my guest. Please be seated. Waitress.
Just like the British, you are so gracious. We have heard you are a true gentleman, Sir Cedric. As for myself, I am already convinced.
On my tab.
Ma'am.
Vodka.
Sir.
One straight.
Andy, sir.
Valley High and soda, twist of lime, chilled and well shaken.
Well, Sir Cedric, how wonderful we finally found you here. It is a lovely place on Mia Island. Lots of friendly peoples. A nice place to seaside in, too.
Yes, Mr. Bigripov. But now you must tell me what has brought you to this quaint sea island, and why it is you have been following me about. If we are to get anywhere, you must venture to tell me the truth.
Of course, Sir Cedric. We have no desire to deceive you. We come as your friends. To friendship. We are aware that you have suffered greatly this past year, and that you have borne your misfortunes like a true soldier.
Whatever do you mean, Madame Bigripov?
Sir Cedric, you will be patient with us, and perhaps we know a little more about you than you expected.
More about me? What could you possibly know about me?
Please remember, we come as your friends.
What do you know?
Yuri?
Well, 13 months ago, you were dismissed from high position. British Ministry of Science Munitions Department. Top secret classification dismissed for accepting bribe. German agent posing a striptease dancer. There's no record of proof. Transfer a bribe to you. So you argued. However, the ministry argues that there's other forms of payment made. Shall I continue?
By all means, continue.
You are dismissed. Our situation kept very hush-hush. to involve embarrassment to the ministry and your family who are influential. The case against you was circumstantial. You return home. You become engaged to a young girl whose parents, both deceased, were also very wealthy. And against the advice of her guardian before marrying you, she signs over all her holdings to you, her future husband. Not that. Not that. 2 weeks later, you cancel the marriage and disappear with all the loot. She, in despair, tries to fly like a bird over the ocean. Her point of departure, the ship dropped off along the white cliffs of Dover. Fishermen know to slash her head against the white rocks. She is called an unfortunate suicide, or perhaps an accident of some kind. You are bid farewell a few days later by a nervous friend. Or was it simply a taxi cab driver you forgot to pay as you hurriedly board the sail ship Yankee Panky bound for America? Land of opportunity.
I see. You've done your homework quite well.
Sir Cedric, you must understand that we servants of the People's Revolution have always admired your work. We sympathize with the unfortunate circumstances that have led you to become a virtual exile from the country that you served. A country which has rewarded you, her faithful servant, with such bitter rejection.
Then now you've come to Amelia Island to make large-scale investments in phosphate stocks, with your instincts, to say nothing of your past accessibility to the British intelligence documents, have told you will rise dramatically with the coming of war in Europe.
A splendid move, Sir Cedric! And we would hope to add only a greater measure to your success.
And how do you propose to do that?
Simple, Comrade Blast. We like the sound of your voice. Enjoy very much to sit and listen to you talk. If you were to talk about, say, the Lorenz beam, which the British are developing to guide their aircraft to the bogs and dark of night to reach your bombing targets, we'd be most appreciative. Such information would be of vital interest with the eventuality of war against Germany, or possibly the United States.
An interesting proposition. But it does, however, involve a considerable degree of risk. I will need a couple of days to think it over. Why don't you meet me here tomorrow for dinner, when I shall have had ample time to assess the value of the information I might share with you.
Wunderbar, as our German friends say. By the way, when we inquired as to your whereabouts at the Palace Saloon, they mentioned that there had been another woman asking where you could be found. They apparently knew nothing and were of no help to her. But perhaps it would be well if you could find out who she is.
Yes, indeed.
Good evening, comrade.
Comrade!
I shall see you to the door.
That must be the woman Juanita Wilson said was asking about him at the Tabby House antique shop.
It's probably another traitor just like him, out to undo the innocent people or join up with him to undermine the security of America. For my part, I've heard enough. There ain't no military secrets passing outside of Georgia going to no Russian wing-wang. I may be a redneck, but honey, I sure as spin the hell ain't red.
Shush now, he's coming back.
Waitress! Waitress! Scotch it, and on ice, and be quick about it. Damn. Waitress, don't you have some entertainment in here? The quiet in here is detestable.
Yes, sir. We have a piano player. He's been on a
Well, where is he? Send him in.
I'll do that.
Damn. I'm innocent. It's so quiet in here. There should be music. Where is that piano player? There should be music. I know I'm innocent. I can prove it. There should be music in this place. It's too quiet.
I couldn't agree more. There should be music. Without it, I'd be out of a job.
So you must be the piano player.
Indeed.
Well then, play, man. Let's get some life in here. It's so dead.
Really, Governor? I hadn't noticed that. You've had a rough day, eh? Need a bit of cheering up, I suppose. Might I make a suggestion? You see, there's this little tart upstairs. It'll be just the ticket to turn your mood around. A little song, a little dance, you'll start to feel like a new man. And she's a real charmer, Governor. She was the first love of the Pasha of Morocco. She stole the heart of Ali Baba as he sat surrounded by the king, the harem of the king of Arabia. And when she left the Mediterranean, passing out from the Rock of Gibraltar, the king of Portugal sold the rock to an insurance company and gave her all the money as an appreciation of her fatal charms.
And what did she do with it?
Why, she used it to pay off her insurance premium. They'd raised her rates because they'd heard she was such a smoker.
I see.
Aye, Governor, she'll make your eyes pop out. She'll make your tongue start wagging around like a stray dog. Are you interested?
But of course, I'd like to
I
meet
summon
her.
her with me honky-tonk piano?
Yes, I'd like
Very
to
well.
meet her.
All right,
Mi amore.
What the hell? Are you addressing me?
Ah, I like the way you talk, senor. You're English, no?
Yes. Sir Cedric Thrushton, Esquire. And who are you?
Wonderful. I'm Rosita. Oh, you English are so charming in your seriousness. Ah, so gallant in war. I remember Englishmen. Long nights sailing on the Mediterranean, horse and carriage affairs on the roads to London, soirees in the grand houses of dukes and earls. I was one of the earl's girls. I was even checked out by the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
So, you like Englishmen, eh?
Like them. Darling, for a while I'll make a career out of Englishmen. Would you like me to tell you about it in a little song?
Oh, but of course.
Magoon, do that song for me, the one that I showed you.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I'd like Sir Cedric to know me a little better.
Coming right up. I once knew a lady fair, gave herself up to the good Lord's care. Lived as a nun in a chapel by the sea, where the sailors came to pray for their delivery. Some would say it was the Lord's mercy, the sailors that sail on the open sea. Others would say it was such a small fee, when these words she'd utter so reverently. One or two, I'll unbuckle me shoe. For 3 or 4, I'll dance on the floor. For 5 or 6, I'll show you some tricks. And I don't mind telling you what 10 is for. I once knew a lady fair, tangled red roses and a curly black hair. They were that night at the village inn, where she greeted weary travelers with a curtsy and a grin. And when they'd supped and finished their brew, she'd mosey on over and curtsy a few, bend down low so the owner couldn't hear, and whisper these words in the customer's ear. I once knew a lady fair, went with the gypsies that didn't have a care, drank of their wine and drank of their beer, but good luck, she hung an earring in her ear. And no one knew what her past had been, till the bread got scarce and the wine went thin.
Then at night by the village wall, they heard her echo in this fainted call. One or two, I'll unbuckle my shoe. For 3 or 4, I'll dance on the floor. For 5 or 6, I'll show you some tricks I don't mind telling you what 10 is for.
Amazing. You didn't sing the first note, but you made the entire song.
Yes, darling. You enjoyed me. Would you buy me a drink now? I'm thirsty.
But of course, be seated. Waitress!
Your English was so charming.
Oh, waitress!
What do we to do now?
Well, I could perhaps give you a little kiss.
Oh, forward one, aren't you?
Well, I didn't mean to bowl you over.
Oh, promise me mercy.
I promise nothing of the kind. Madam, you have engaged the English lion, and you will soon find him king of beasts. Shall we go? We shall go upstairs.
How about something other?
Oh.
Rosita, how come you to be here with this man? Have I not told you? I cannot bear for another man to touch you.
Get away from me.
Who is he, Rosita?
He said he wished to talk. Geraldo, how did I know? He wished to do his talking with his hands.
You, whoever you are, do not let me find you here tomorrow.
You pig!
Now, just a minute. This little...
Hold your tongue, senor. Remember, farmers are cheap, some affordable. And there is one little word you can purchase right now, just by saying it. That could cost you your life. Are you ready to make your purchase?
I don't have to say anything. The truth stands by itself.
Remember, tomorrow, senor.
Oh, damn. Waitress! A bottle of scotch and be quick about it. Damn. I'm innocent. I can prove I'm innocent, therefore, I have to be innocent. Waitress! What is this feeling, this sinking? I'm innocent. They don't know a thing. What? I don't have anything to be afraid of. I'm innocent! God knows I'm innocent!
Who can say what are the limitations of the conscience of a man? Who can predict when, having run a course of failure and disgrace for so long, when he will no longer be able to distinguish between the real and the unreal, when he will, as they say, go insane? In the case of Sir Cedric Thruston, that point was clear enough. For while he appeared outwardly in control of his faculties, there was, from the moment he slipped into that drunken stupor, a change in the soul of the man. And while others would say that the point of his death occurred at some hour on the following day, I would venture to say it happened the night before, when his soul, overburdened with the misdeeds of a cruel and wicked life, consigned itself to a future somewhere beyond the reach of God and heaven. As I sat playing in the wee hours before dawn, I swear I could almost hear the messengers from below coming to claim their own.
Come a long way, baby.
Old Callahan ain't that far.
There she goes again. This stuff must be stronger than me thinks.
Say, you were in here last night. I saw you. You were taking care of that English gentleman. You don't like him very much either, do you?
Oh, I didn't know we had any guests yet. Pardon, madam, pardon. Right this way. Want me to hang that for you? Ma'am? Here you go. Oh, honey.
Thank you.
Sir?
Woo!
Hurry, sir. Oh! 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 Waitress! Waitress! Oh! Oh, Mrs. Homewood! To the back room, please. We'll be needing your services for just a moment. Oh! 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 Oh!
Callahan must be quite a place.
Non voglio di only one of the last until make Zucker kind of spot and get away with it.
All right, who's here first?
As the American were here first, but a friend upstairs we shall see.
Jury is no joke. She was here first.
More vodka!
Yuri!
Vodka.
Discretion. Remember discretion. Shh.
Ah, Natasha. Play me a river waltz.
What?
Play me a river waltz. Please, play me a river waltz.
Very well. To shut you
do you want to hear? Do you want to hear the Volga River Waltz? Do you want to hear the Blue Danube River Waltz? What you want to hear?
The Crimea River Waltz. Yes. Yes. Ah.
Well, I see you have enjoyed my music.
Wonderful music, Natasha.
You are so moved. You are inspired to dance.
Oh, yes.
You know, Yuri, I'm flattered that you like the way I play so much. You could have just sat there like a stupid oaf and felt nothing.
Oh, yes, like stupid off.
Or you could have sat there like a callous pig and read your reports.
Callous pig.
But you're not a stupid oaf.
I'm not stupid off.
And you're not a callous pig.
I'm not callous pig.
You're an insolent pig and nothing. Dog! Please! Chauvinist! Swine! Capitalist! Dog! Erotist! Oh, Sir Cedric! How refreshing to see you again so soon.
Oh, yeah.
Greetings. You have arrived as planned. And you must be Hedda Hunter. I received your note. A most interesting offer. One I should be hard-pressed to refuse.
Well, Sir Cedric, perhaps we should get on with the business at hand, and afterward we can sit down with clear minds to dinner. It is always better to get business out of the way before eating. Better for the digestion.
It's always better.
I couldn't agree more. Shall we be seated?
But, Sir Cedric, these matters must be kept entirely confidential. She
is a friend of mine. I have asked her to join us.
The most important element of our affair at this point is secrecy, Sir Cedric.
Wrong, Madame Bigripoff. The most important element at this moment is the amount of cash you wish to repay for the information I have.
Very well, Sir Cedric. Your friends are our friends.
Right, Natasha.
Very well. You will probably be enthusiastic if I choose the most direct route to concluding our business at hand.
Most certainly, Sir Cedric.
You have contacted your superiors and told them of our meeting yesterday.
Of course.
And they have no doubt told you what you are to offer me.
Of course, Sir Cedric.
And if I should refuse, you have been authorized to make a better offer, I would presume.
Perhaps.
And if I should again refuse, you have been authorized to make a last and final offer.
Well...
Madame Bigripoff! You will find
that I am no stranger to the espionage marketplace. Now let's get down to business, shall we? And tell me, what does the Soviet Socialist Republic, what do they plan to offer me? What is in fact to be their initial and final offer?
Since you asked, Sir Cedric, I will tell you. 10,000 American dollars.
I was wrong about Comrade Stalin. He does have a sense of humor after all. A very good offer. For the plans to a chicken house! Now, if you will excuse me, I have more pressing business at hand with my friend. Perhaps you will accompany me upstairs to my quarters, Miss Hunter.
Of course, Sir Cedric. Wait a minute. Who are you?
The name is Hedda Hunter, honey.
You have made an offer for the information from Sir Cedric?
You guessed it.
Why, what good is it to you?
Ever heard of the Confederacy, Miss Natasha?
Yes. They lost the war.
Well, they're getting ready to win the next one. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Well, what have we here? A pair of candidates for mannequin school, Aye. Well, don't look so gloomy. I've got some good news for you. I just passed a little lady in the hallway with a black dress on. She gave me a silver dollar to come in and play a very special song for you. I think you're gonna love it. I still ask, are you? Well, look, I don't want to disturb you, but I have just one question for you. You ever have any problem with flies?
Where is he? English dog. He has defied me and stayed when I gave him a chance to go. Where is he? Where is he? Pig of a dog. So Cedric.
Sir Cedric. Sir Cedric gone upstairs.
Oh, gracias, muchacha. Not you.
Sir Cedric gone upstairs. Yuri! Sir Cedric gone upstairs.
So Cedric gone upstairs. If he should die, he must be a spy.
We must do something. I have it. I have it. We will silence him. For good.
Ah, for good!
And don't forget to bring back the suitcase he carried with the documents. He won't be needing them any longer.
For good!
Go, Yuri Yurovich! Now I remember why I fall in love with Yuri. Now, Mr. Magoon, when I told you to play between 5 and 10 each night, you know very well that I didn't mean between 5 and 10 songs.
Yes, sir.
And let's not hear about this fine piano here gone dry. That's just plain ridiculous.
Well, sir, after I've been playing it for a half an hour or so, I need to go and sleep it off.
Mr. Magoon, now let's hear you play.
Aye, sir.
That's all right, ma'am. I'm practicing up for a new dance number.
Listen, I only make this quick. I just came by to say thank you for everything.
Everything, ma'am, really? Why is that?
Well, number one, Geraldo's finally decided I am the only woman for him.
Well, that's good. It took him a while, but then I knew he'd come around.
Number two,
Yeah.
he's decided he wants me all to himself.
Well, I can't blame him for that. I mean, one thing would lead to another, I suppose. And besides, there's not that much of you to go around.
And number three,
Number three? What is number three?
he's going to take me to Utah.
Utah, ma'am? You sure you want to go to Utah?
Utah.
Utah, ma'am? Well, it's
Paradise.
paradise to scorpions, but, well, all I can say is I'll be real sorry to see you go. It's going to put quite a crimp in me supplemental income.
Well, that we'll see.
What is that noise? Mama, that must be the honeymooners' suite.
Honeymooners? That's a bunch of weirdos.
Have you seen Geraldo here yet?
He was here
tonight?
earlier, ma'am.
Yuri!
He came up. I saw him strolling around, but that was it.
Geraldo!
Boss, I think it's all right.
Greetings. What a splendid gathering of fools and lovers.
No, this can't be!
Fortunate you're still alive. My pleasure is yet to be fulfilled.
Careful, Geraldo.
Kill him, Yuri!
Now you die.
Fools!
Ah!
I hate to deprive you of your
Look at it!
cherished little dreams.
It's a trick!
Well, that was the last time any of us ever saw Sir Cedric Thrushton. Not that anybody regretted it, except maybe Mr. Merriweather, who was unable to collect his bill. But there was some talk about going after him to try and retrieve the money, but then nobody wanted to grapple with the collection agency that was now handling his case. So the matter was dropped and never spoken of again after that. But that leaves me back where it all started. Back with me heart in such despair over the fact that I've never been able to figure it all out, and it preys on my mind and my inner soul and my feelings like a cancer eating away at me heart. And I suppose I shall go to me grave with a gloomy heart. I don't know what can be said of it all, except that perhaps there must be some meaning in it all that I haven't yet been able to understand. For instance, if this kind of thing had happened to you, sir, what would you have done? What would you have thought? Who do you think would have killed Sir Cedric? Haven't seen the facts as they are. Have you any ideas?
Why do you owe me?
Pardon me?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a possibility, I suppose. Anybody got any ideas out here about who it might have been that killed Sir?
Pardon me, sir, are you Blither Magoon?
The name is Slither!
Slither, slide over. I got a telegram for you. Need you to sign for it.
Read that thing there. There you go. There's me signature. What's this? All right, here.
Oh, it's not enough, eh? Well, money's not the only thing that talks. Let's see what we got here. Well, it seems that there was a certain detective at the last performance we gave, who from Scotland Yard was doing undercover agency work on Amelia Island and happened to come to the show and managed thereafter to solve the murder in its entirety. He goes by the undercover name of J.P. McClellan. Well, how about that? It seems that he followed the guy. The guy followed her, Mrs. Holmwood, found her in a Newport Beach convalescent hospital, and she's confessed to the whole thing. Well, beats all. Says that as he was leaving the room, she was saying to him that if she was 50 years younger, she would do it all over again, and that's not the only thing that she would do if she was 50 years younger, she said to him as he walked out the room. Well, I suppose that we ought to have a look at what it is and how it was all done. For instance, you might be interested in knowing what Detective McClellan says about how it all happened. Final scene, Yankee Panky. Sir Cedric Thrushton, as he opens door to his room, to Hunter. Could I offer you a drink, perhaps? Hunter, as she draws a switchblade knife from her dress. No, you liver-bellied, no good for nothing. No timing, two-timing traitor. What you get from me is that there satchel full of secrets you're preparing to swab to those spies. I overheard you talking that. Sir Cedric Thrushton, looking around the room frantically for his briefcase. I'm afraid I don't know what has become of it. On my word as a gentleman, it was right there on the bed where I left it earlier. Yuri Figurtov rushes up the stairs into the open door of Sir Cedric's bedroom. Finding Sir Cedric and Hedda in a heated argument, he raises his dagger and demands that Sir Cedric turn over the briefcase with its secret contents or face the consequences of his blade. Well, how about that? Sir Cedric Thrushton, please, you must believe me. They have disappeared. I know not where they are. I beg of you, believe me. At that moment, a voice in the hallway. Someone clearing their throat as if to speak. All three turned to find Mrs. Holmwood standing in the doorway, whiskey flask in hand. Mrs. Holmwood, if you're looking for the briefcase, perhaps you should ask the Spanish lady. I just saw her heading down the back hallway carrying it. At this, both Hedda and Yuri dropped their weapons and raced down the hallway, both fighting for a lead. Sir Cedric Thrushton, my good lady, I cannot tell you how relieved, how grateful I am. Why, if you hadn't come in when you did, I don't mind telling you, my life was in great jeopardy. Mrs. Holmwood, as she stooped to retrieve Yuri's dagger. Oh, I'm afraid your life couldn't be in greater jeopardy, Sir Cedric, slipping into an English accent. For you see, my journey is about to come to an end. Placing the dagger to Sir Cedric's throat, she forces him out onto the balcony. You couldn't know the joy I felt at the Palace Saloon when they told me I could find you here. How close I had come before, always just one step behind your trail, Sir Cedric. I knew my daughter would never commit suicide, as only a mother could know. You murdered her! She loved you too much to see through your greed. With that, she plunges the dagger into Sir Cedric's chest. He tumbles over the balcony into the shrubbery below. Well, Rosita, unknown to anyone, slipped into his room with the hope of finding some profitable angle to this rich Englishman. Steals away with the briefcase and sells it to Natasha Bigelow. Rather happy with her purchase, I would say. Geraldo and Rosita split with the loot to Utah to open the ill-fated Prudential Saloon. Natasha and Yuri retired to their quarters to examine their newly acquired state secrets, only to discover upon opening the briefcase that its contents include nothing more than old news leader superdollar ads. And Hedda? Well, Hedda volunteered to start the evening's fire in the old seaside's hearth. Proceeded to ignite what could be argued as one of the most expensive kindlings ever to ignite a blaze, one secret sheet at a time. Well, I guess that about wraps it up. Except for a few words maybe about what happened to Yuri and Natasha. They went off to Siberia and became the first man-woman comedy team ever to make it big in that little place. And Yuri and Geraldo, well, they went off to Utah for a while, but they soon returned. Natasha and Yuri, they made their happiness, but Geraldo and Rosita never could find happiness in Utah. And old Hedda, oh, Hedda, she sailed around the world on the Yankee Panky, and when it came back, they renamed it the Hanky Panky. Could have fooled me with it, I'll tell you that. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I've been to Dallas, seen it on TV. I left my baby down in Kansas City, but there ain't no place in this world for me except in Fernandina by the sea. I've been to Philly, I've done my time. Oh, going freight cars on the Topeka line, but there ain't no place in this world for me except in Fernandina by the sea. It don't seem to matter where I try to go. Detroit, Chicago, or San Francisco. It seems I found my favorite show watching
Pretty girls wear the St. Mary's clothes.
I've seen the lights of St. Louis Blues. I paid some downtown New York city dues, but there ain't no place in this world for me except in Fernandina by the sea. Hey, Matt, take it one time for me, will you?
From New Jersey, the best good old boys is Billy Carter, Tim Horgan. From Hotlanta, the tenacious, the vivacious Patty Crow. From Cleveland, Ohio, an artist in disguise, Miss Carrie Johns. From Jacksonville, Florida, the Prince of Vengeance, Nassau County's own Terminator, David Pickett. And speaking of the devil, it's Satan himself, Mr. Eston Pickett. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a warm applause, if you will, for Jacksonville's foremost practitioner of the art of mine, Mr. Bob Seymour. From Santiago, Cuba, the unquenchable flame of Spanish passion, Marty P. Hayden. Please restrain yourselves, ladies, as you acknowledge the living, breathing spirit of the Cossacks, Mr. Ben Beatty. Now from Alabama, the living proof that diverse, the sultry, the seductive, all at Hearst. From Raleigh, North Carolina, the provocative, the talented, Denise Lovequist. From South Carolina, the debonair, the Shakespearean, the living room, Mr. Bill Mason. And last but not least, the members of the band on bass, Mr. Pete Got the Beat Bachman. And yeah, all right, let's have them back one more time.